Yeah. See, this for you little badass niggas, man. Out there fucking up and shit. I just want you to know one thing, nigga. I don't give a fuck what you go through. How low it get, nigga. How rough the road get, nigga. Even one person gon' ride you to the end, nigga. That's your mama, nigga. Cause she had your stinking ass, nigga. She said, fuck these hating ass niggas to you. Got enough for one, tell the nigga front two. Better bust your guns if a nigga front you. Every time you eat, make sure you feed your whole crew. Son, you was born broke, baby, die rich. Keep your mouth closed, ain't raised no snitch. If she roll a good blunt, you better wipe that bitch. Just playing with my baby, don't like that shit. Came out the womb with nothing. 2-bedroom trailer, the roaches couldn't even say it. Scared, just go to church. The preacher can't even say it. That's why I go so hard. The preacher might even play ya. Streets was my father figure, even my role model. Got me a Benzo, and it was a new motto. I got a new motto. It came with 10 leather. Holla back tomorrow, cause I like the 10 better. You like the 10 better? The block is hot as my 10 sweater. Remember like yesterday, picked it up in a 10 Jetta. Get better gas mileage. I know I'm just fucking playing, trying to be low key. Y'all know what the fuck I'm saying. Just me and my homeboy. We hoping we make it home. He over there knocked out, and I'm in the fucking zone. See, mama ain't raised a clown, mama ain't raised a fool. Caught up the whole summer just like I'm in summer school. She said.
We're back with another episode of Hood Tales with ConeHead. It's a special edition. Shout out to all the mothers here on earth, up in heaven, watching over their kids, and the ones who wish they could be a part of their kids' life but are not able to at the moment due to either incarceration or separation, state-wise, or just decided, the burden was too much, which is not a burden, but we make choices. I'd like to send a shout out to Bishop Rico, aka Aunt Ree, aka Boss Lady. That's my mother. Even though it wasn't bound by blood, I didn't come out of ovaries, but she loved me as her son. I was raised by two loving parents who instilled in me the values, the morals, the principles, the ethics, the character, and most importantly, putting God first in everything I do. I like to shout out to my parents. They should have a Father's Day, Mother's Day, and Parents' Day. For real, they need to make that a national holiday. Any of my listeners out there that got some pull and some juice, hey man, run that by somebody to get that put on the docket for the passage of legislation, man. But I'm coming to y'all today, live and in effect. I wasn't able to spend time with my mother today. Got business to run, and hopefully later on in the week I'll get to pull up on her and do something nice for her. So, our story begins in the 80s when they had HRS. They didn't have DCF, it was HRS. And my biological mother, shout out to her, you know what I'm saying? Even though she didn't raise me, that's still my mother. I love her, do anything for her, Hopefully she's having a great Mother Day. I'll hit her up a little later and tell her the same. But it started in the 80s, It was a little abusive situation, and how it goes sometimes. But, she wasn't fit, and she felt like she wanted a better life for me and my brother. And we ended up going into foster care. Now, the first foster family was up in Pennsylvania somewhere. It was a white lady, and it was crazy because my mom had pictures of us as little boys with these baby blue suits and hats. And the crazy thing was, it was just, I don't even recall or remember that. And then I was in a foster home with the Macaulays, and it was one of those things that was abusive. The husband was an alcoholic, took his frustrations and his stress out on his wife, and when Miss McCauley would, have her moments to herself, and she'd be left alone with me and my brother, even though they had their own biological child. It was kind of crazy, but at the end of the day, that's the journey that God had for both our lives. So we went through the verbal abuse, the physical abuse, and the mental abuse. You know what I'm saying? You can't imagine being 1, 2, 3 years old and someone telling you that you'll never be shit, you'll never have shit, no one will ever love you, and we wouldn't have never gave our son away. That ghost haunted me for years as an adult as well. But we went through that. We endured those beatings and endured that verbal disrespect and that verbal, don't care. We was just a check to them. I think back in the day you got $1,800 a pop. That's why if you ever notice, you see an odd couple with a gang of different kids, 10 out of 10 they adopted, their adopted parents, and they just, they might treat them right, and then again they might not. You know what I'm saying? It's just all depending on what their motive is and their intention. So, we went through that physical abuse, and I think that's why I'm so quick to react with violence and so quick to react and not afraid of anything, and just am who I am based on the beatings I got. I used to take the beatings from my little brother, you know what I'm saying? And I love him dearly. Like, even as a grown man, if he was to call me and had a problem, I'd be there first thing smoking. So once we went through that situation, God blessed us with the angel who was my mother, my mama, my boss lady, Aunt Rita Song, you know what I'm saying? Bishop J.M. Rico. Like, she showed me another side of life. She showed me another side of family. She showed me another side of love. She showed me another side that people aren't always bad. It's a lot of bad in the world, but it's also some good in the world. And I'm doing this podcast for all the mothers who might not feel appreciated, or might not feel like they're loved, or might not feel like the kids don't recognize what they do for them. Like, I've been over backwards for them. I do whatever I can for my mother. Like, she don't have to worry or hesitation or nothing from my end. It's like, baby, what you need, mama? What daddy need? You need me to help? What you need me to do? You know what I'm saying? So she got us back in like 84, 85. I remember the first day we got there, she introduced us to the kids in the neighborhood, and there was this girl named Melba and her sister Tamika, and Tamika was so fine back then. And I remember we being introduced to them, and I had that anger and that whatever from that last situation still on me. And when the girl Melba came up to me to say, hey, I called her a bitch, and my mama, she went and told my mama, I said, get out my face, bitch. And because that's what I heard growing up. That's in that foster home, that's what went on. So the crazy thing about it, I'm like, I ain't know I was wrong, because that's where the environment I came from. So when she ran and told my mama what I said, mama came back out there like, what you said, boy? I said, I told her to get out my face, bitch. She took me in the house. And shout out to anybody listening to this podcast that ever had their mouth washed out with soap. That's an old school move. And I'm talking about Irish Spring, Dial, Dove, Dawn. If you ever had your mouth washed out with soap for saying something in a cursing way, shout out to y'all too. And so she washed my mouth out with soap, and it was the worst thing I ever dealt with because the taste was horrible. But throughout the years, I learned to love this lady even more, because she showed us caring, concern, and love, real, genuine, true love. And I'm just blessed and thankful to have her as my mom. No disrespect to Angela, because that's my mother too. She gave me life, she brought me here, she pushed me out her ovaries, you know what I'm saying? and she just wasn't in a position to give the life that she felt we deserved. So, you know, I still have contact with her. I still talk to her. I see her. You know, if she needs my help, I'm there for her. I'm the oldest out of 5 of her children. You know what I'm saying? So we have to understand we can't always get the parents that we want, but we have to appreciate the ones we have, even if they don't treat us right at times, even if they don't love us like we feel or we deserve to be loved. Like, we have to learn to overlook those things and just hold on to them in memory, but don't dwell on them to where it turns into a bitter, bad relationship. So as time goes on, I grow up. She's usher in the beginning, and then end up becoming a pastor. She's been a pastor for almost 30 years, over 30 years, or like 35, 36 plus. She's a bishop now. She got a bishopship in 2014, and that's one of the proudest moments that I can say about my mom, that she accomplished something that a lot of women aren't doing. You know, they might be evangelists or pastors, but to become a bishop, that's a big thing, because mostly men in that area, in that arena. But she carved her own niche and became her own thing. So, like I say, man, I grew up in that church home. She showed me values. My dad showed me values, and I love y'all, and I love my mama, and mama, I love you. Even like Martin said, them are mama biscuits. You know what I'm saying? So, mama, thank you for everything. I love you. Thank you for believing in me when I didn't even believe in me. Thank you for always believing in our family, having our family tight-knit and close. Thank you for always being the matriarch of our family, showing me how to hustle, showing me how to get out here and get money, showing me how to be my own boss, just like my father. Thank you, mister, for showing me what it means to be a real man and stand up for what you believe in and never back down and never turn coat. You know, mom, you know, you mean everything. Dad, you mean everything. And mama, it's your day, it's your special day, it's Mother's Day, every day. And I always remember that. So, with that being said, I love my listeners. I love my family. I love everybody. Happy Mother's Day to everyone who's celebrating this today. And if your mom is not here, if you got time to go say you love her, wherever she may be resting at, tell her you love her. And I'm out.
Fuck these hating ass niggas till you. Got enough for one, tell a nigga front two. Better bust your guns if a nigga front you. And baby, time you eat, make sure you feed your whole girl. Son, you was born broke, baby, die rich. Keep your mouth closed, I ain't raised no snitch. If she roll a good blunt, you better wipe that bitch. I was playing with my baby, no, I like that shit. She said, love is loyalty and loyalty is love. I said, well, you can keep the love, cause I'd rather have loyalty. Real nigga music, but she rather call it poetry. Said it sound good and it reminded her of Floetry. You already know, out of sight, out of mind. Hate trust the soul, it's probably why I'm out my mind. Homie hit me up, he say I'm running out of time. The only thing I'm worried about is running out of dimes. The only thing he worried about is running out of nines. Can talk it all night, I doubt I'm running out of lines. Hustle hard, get your own, you niggas got the time. It's gotta be the right road, cause I can see the signs. Mama said, fuck them niggas, get your head up. Mama said, fuck them niggas, get your bread up. Yeah, and damn what a nigga say. And when it get rough, all you gotta do is pray. Fuck these hating ass niggas till you. Got enough for one, tell a nigga front two. Better bust your guns if a nigga front you. And baby, time you eat, make sure you feed your whole girl. Son, you was born broke, baby, die rich. Keep your mouth closed, I ain't raised no snitch. If she roll a good blunt, you better wipe that bitch. I was playing with my baby, and I don't like that shit.
Hey yo, shout out to the fourth wall. Shout my nigga Old Dog. Shout to Lil Zay. All my niggas on Boulevard. Shout my niggas on Auburn Ave. Can't forget my nigga Fahrenheit. Shout to King B.
But I remember what my mama told me. Fuck these niggas.